Gwen's pregnancy bombshell on Days of Our Lives. Is Salem about to explode again? Hello, fellow Days of Our Lives fans. If you've been glued to your screens like I have these past few weeks, you've probably felt that familiar tingle of anticipation, the kind that only a true soap opera twist can deliver. We're diving deep today into one of the most tantalizing possibilities swirling around Salem right now, Gwen's pregnancy. Could it really be happening? Is the fiery, complicated Gwen Rizchek about to bring another child into this already chaotic world? And more importantly, is that child Xander's? Grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's unpack this emotional roller coaster because, darling, if the signs are pointing where I think they are, the Kyriakis family is headed straight for another seismic shift. For those of us who followed Days of Our Lives through its decades of love, betrayal, and shocking revelations, Gwen has always been a character who commands attention. From her scheming arrival in Salem to her complicated romance with Xander Cook, she's been equal parts vulnerable and vengeful. Lately, though, something feels different. The cameras have been lingering on her just a beat longer, catching those subtle cracks in her usually steel-reinforced facade. We've seen her emotional volatility spike in ways that feel too raw, too unfiltered, even for Gwen. And in the world of soap operas, that kind of emotional whirlwind rarely comes without a reason. A very specific, life-altering reason. Let's start with what we've been witnessing on screen. Gwen has been openly struggling with waves of emotion that seem to crash over her without warning. One moment she's composed, the next she's fighting back tears or lashing out with that signature sharp tongue of hers. She's even alluded to it herself in recent scenes, those quiet, almost confessional moments where she admits her feelings are spiraling out of control. Unless there's a reason, she seems to imply. And oh, what a reason pregnancy would be. In the rich tapestry of Days of Our Lives, pregnancies have always been more than just plot devices. They're catalysts. They're weapons. They're miracles wrapped in drama. Remember how many times a surprise baby has upended entire families? From Sammy Brady's countless twists to the endless Kyriakis air battles, a positive pregnancy test in Salem is never just happy news. It's a declaration of war on the status quo. Gwen's situation feels particularly primed for this kind of explosion. Her relationship with Xander has been a tempestuous saga filled with passion, deception, and hard-won redemption. They've broken up, gotten back together, betrayed each other, and fought their way through more obstacles than most couples could survive. Lately, though, Xander has been pulling away. Those reconnection attempts from Gwen? They're hitting a wall. You can see the distance in his eyes, the hesitation in his voice. He's rebuilding his life, trying to find stability after years of chaos, and the last thing he needs or thinks he needs is another child tying him irrevocably to Gwen. But here's where it gets deliciously dramatic. What if that choice is being taken out of his hands? Imagine the scene, because if the writers are going where I suspect, we've got Emmy-worthy material coming. Gwen, sitting alone in her room at the Salem Inn, staring at a little white stick with 2 pink lines that change everything, her hand trembling slightly as she processes the news. The initial shock giving way to a complex mix of fear, hope, and maybe even a touch of that old scheming spark. Gwen has always fought for what she wants, often by any means necessary. A baby with Xander could be her ultimate anchor, the one thing that might pull him back from the edge of truly moving on. Let's expand on why this would be so devastatingly perfect for the storyline. Xander has been through fatherhood, scares, and heartbreaks before. His history with Sarah Horton, the complicated custody battles, and the losses they've endured have left deep scars. Another child, especially with Gwen, the woman who has both loved and wounded him so profoundly, would force him to confront everything he's been trying to distance himself from. Picture the confrontation scenes. Xander's face when she tells him, that mix of disbelief and raw anger. "How could this happen?" he'd roar in that Scottish accent that still gives us chills. Gwen standing her ground, perhaps with tears streaming down her face, declaring that this baby is a sign, a second chance for them to build something real. The emotional layers here are endless. Gwen's own traumatic past, her difficult childhood, her complicated family ties with Jack Devereaux would come roaring back. Pregnancy would amplify every insecurity, every fear of abandonment she's ever carried. We get those powerful, tear-jerking monologues where she pours her heart out to a confidant, maybe Leo, or even a surprise visit from her father. "I never thought I'd have this chance," she'd whisper, voice breaking, "to be a mother, to give this child what I never had." And let's not forget the ripple effects across Salem. This pregnancy wouldn't just affect Gwen and Xander. The Kyriakis Empire would be shaken to its core. Victor's legacy still looms large, and any new heir automatically becomes a player in the never-ending power struggles. Maggie would have mixed feelings, joy at the prospect of another grandchild, but deep concern about the volatility between Gwen and Xander. Justin and Bonnie would be pulled in for advice. Even Brady and Teresa might find themselves commenting on the drama, perhaps drawing parallels to their own complicated family dynamics. What about Sarah? Oh, the potential for jealousy and renewed rivalry is mouth-watering. Sarah has her own history with Xander, and news of Gwen carrying his child could reignite old flames of competition. We might see subtle sabotage attempts or heartfelt conversations where Sarah warns Xander about getting pulled back in. The love triangle energy that Days of Our Lives does so brilliantly would be cranked up to 11. Then there's the medical drama angle that soaps love to lean into. Gwen's pregnancy wouldn't be straightforward, nothing in Salem ever is. Maybe there are complications that require bed rest, forcing characters to interact who normally wouldn't. Perhaps a paternity scare, even if we, the audience, know the truth. False alarms, emotional breakdowns in the hospital waiting room, whispered conversations between doctors who happen to be connected to the main cast. The writers could stretch this out for months, keeping us guessing about everything from the baby's health to whether Gwen will use this pregnancy as leverage or genuinely try to change. Let's take a step back and think about the timing. Days of Our Lives has always excelled at weaving personal milestones with larger mysteries. Could this pregnancy tie into something bigger? A corporate battle at Titan? A secret from Gwen's past resurfacing at the worst possible moment? Maybe even a health crisis that tests Xander's commitment in unexpected ways. The uncontrollable emotions we've been seeing aren't just hormonal, they're foreshadowing. The way her hand instinctively goes to her stomach during arguments. The sudden nausea she tries to hide. The way she looks at baby clothes in a store window when she thinks no one's watching. These are the delicious details that make longtime viewers like me lean forward in our seats. For Xander, this would represent the ultimate test of character. He's grown so much trying to be a better man, distancing himself from his criminal past, seeking stability. But Xander has always had a soft spot for underdogs and for Gwen specifically. Learning he's going to be a father again would crack that resolve wide open. We'd see him pacing the Kyriakis mansion, pouring himself a drink, flashbacks hitting him of past losses. The writers could give us incredible scenes where he talks to the baby through Gwen's belly, voice thick with emotion, promising to be there no matter what. Or, in true Xander fashion, storming off only to come back with flowers and determination. The beauty of this potential storyline is how it forces every character involved to evolve. Gwen might finally confront her tendency to manipulate when scared. Xander could learn that running away isn't always the answer. Even secondary characters would shine, perhaps Chanel and Johnny offering unexpected support, or DiMera finding some way to use the news to his advantage in one of his schemes. Let's speculate further because that's half the fun of being a Days fan. What if the pregnancy is high risk, echoing some of the show's most memorable medical stories? What if Gwen initially considers not telling Xander, leading to weeks of tension as he senses something's off? The miscommunication tropes that soaps do so well would be in full force. Secret doctor's appointments. Gwen fainting in public. Xander finding prenatal vitamins by accident. Each revelation building to that inevitable, explosive confession scene that could air during Sweeps Week and break the internet. And emotionally, this hits different for longtime viewers. We've watched Gwen transform from a somewhat villainous figure to someone capable of real love and growth. A baby represents hope for her, a chance to break the cycle of dysfunction that has defined so much of her life. For Xander, it's about legacy and responsibility. The man who once felt like he had nothing, now potentially having everything, if only he can find the courage to reach for it. The supporting cast would get plenty of screen time too. Leo Stark, Gwen's loyal best friend, would be hilarious and heartfelt in equal measure, offering ridiculous baby name suggestions while also being the shoulder Gwen cries on. Honey, if you're pregnant, we need to plan the most fabulous gender reveal Salem has ever seen, he'd declare, probably while plotting ways to keep Xander in line. Even the older generation would weigh in. Kate Roberts might offer her brand of tough love advice. Roman Brady could share wisdom from his own complicated family history. The communal nature of Salem means this pregnancy becomes everyone's business, everyone's drama. As we wait for confirmation on screen, the speculation itself is part of the joy. Those subtle acting choices by the talented performers, the lingering glances, the protective hand placements, the barely contained tears, tell us something is brewing. Days of Our Lives has mastered the art of slow burn reveals, and this feels like it's building to something massive. What happens when the truth comes out? Will Xander step up immediately, or will doubt and fear create temporary rifts that take months to heal? Will Gwen's past mistakes come back to haunt her at the worst possible time? Could this baby actually bring genuine healing to their fractured relationship, or will it be the final nail in the coffin? One thing is certain. If Gwen is indeed pregnant with Xander's child, Salem won't be the same. The power dynamics will shift. Hearts will break and mend. Secrets will spill out in spectacular fashion. And we, the devoted audience, will be here for every single second of it. The emotional changes we've noticed in Gwen aren't random. They're the quiet before the storm. That uncontrollable wave of feelings she described, it's the universe or the talented writers at Days preparing us for the upheaval to come. Pregnancy in soap operas is never simple. It's messy, beautiful, devastating, and redemptive all at once. Xander distancing himself right now feels like classic setup. The further he pulls away, the harder the pullback will be when the news drops. It's dramatic irony at its finest. We know what's coming. He doesn't. And the anticipation is killing us in the best possible way. So, my fellow fans, what do you think? Is Gwen carrying Xander's baby? Are we headed for a custody battle for the ages, or a slow burn reconciliation that finally gives these two tortured souls their happy ending? Drop your theories in the comments, because this storyline has the potential to be one of the show's most memorable in years. Whatever happens, one thing is clear. In Salem, a new life means new beginnings, new conflicts, and endless drama. And I, for one, cannot wait to see how this pregnancy, if it is one, turns the Kiriaki's world and Gwen and Xander's lives completely upside down. We'll have to wait and see. But knowing Days of Our Lives, it won't be long before the truth explodes across our screens in spectacular fashion. Stay tuned, soap lovers. The best is yet to come.